you're having a clean on the ottoman. That's one of your favorite places for a clean. She likes to sit down and she starts cleaning her fingernails. She starts trimming her nails. You ever see a cat do that? I never did before. It's fascinating for a minute. Just about anything's fascinating for a minute, though. But yeah, I don't know how those tiny little fangs that have no depth to them, no width to them, they're just fangs. She can bite those tiny little claws that also have no width to them, no depth, they're just points. She's biting points with points. She's biting her finger points with her mouth points. And she's somehow trimming her nails with it. She gets a grip, I could see, and she pulls up with her neck, and her paw goes up with her, and then it pulls apart, and she's like ripping that paw. And then what she'll do is she'll like kind of roll, do a half, 3/4 roll, like a slight gymnastics tumble, and then kind of land on a upright back, and then lean forward and start cleaning her tail. I don't know how she can lick her own tail. She's so flexible. Peanut. I call her P. Short for Peanut. Hi, Peanut. She knows her name to be P, though, because I'm always a nicknamer. I'm the kind of guy that's a nicknamer, but my nicknamerness is just really, it's not very creative. So compared to pros, it's very not pro. It's just I shorten your name, that's all. I don't come up with new names for you. That's a pro. So I'm a nicknamer, but only like I'm not even a big fish in a small pond about it, so I don't brag. I don't make a brag about it. But to the extent that shortening a name is a nicknamer, I am that. And I'm exclusively that. I wouldn't call myself Deckard. I would say, yo, Deck. What's up, Deck? I call him Looch. I would call him Looch even if he wasn't wanted to be called Looch. I mean, unless he didn't want to be called Looch, then I try not to call him that. But I call him something. I wouldn't be able to call him his full name. I like to call the short name. That's all I'm saying. So that's the kind of nicknamer that I am. I'm not going to give Peanut a nickname other than a shortened version of a name, but it's definitely the vegetable P, not the letter P. She doesn't answer to the letter P, nor should she. That's not her nickname. Her nickname is the vegetable P. You think it sounds the same, but the spirit of it is completely different, and the way it comes out, the way it's heard by her is totally different. It might sound the same to you when it comes out of my mouth, but not to her. It doesn't, I can tell. And I only share love to my cat, and so I call her what she deserves, which is her real nickname, which is P. Yeah, she responds by looking up and saying, "Why you keep calling my name?" Because I'm just making a point, darling. I don't call her darling ever. That's a Luchism. That just came out of nowhere. What's up, darling? Darling for dollars. Remember that show? Darling for dollars. People would call up other random numbers and give them $100. It was a game show. It wasn't very exciting. Yeah, so not much else really. I had a hamburger from Longhorns. Whippersnapper. I just like to say whippersnapper. It's a bunch of syllables that each have their own remarkable quirk to them. Whipper, the way you say whipper is part of it, and snapper. Whippersnapper. It's almost like it's a snapper ends in a U and an H, but it's also the way the voice fluctuates in the throatal area, like whippersnapper, and it's the way your mouth moves when you go from the first whipper to that S real quick. Whipper snapper. You go from like a very pursed, kissy kind of whipper, your lips are tight together, not tight together, but closed over your, those bumps in the sides of your cheeks, they're closed over your fang teeth. Whipper. That's how it ends. Whipper, snapper. And you gotta go wide and like low. Wide, low, like a grin. But it's also gotta be open. Whipper, snapper. And that snapper, it's a two-part word. It's the and then the snap. You got to get that snap. And then it's the crucial part of that snapper, just the snap part of it, is the way the A goes into that P. It goes into that plosive. How you transition the A to the plosive. That's the expertise. Whipper, snapper, snapper. It's a quick throatal close right before the plosive, if I got my analytics correct. Whipper, snapper, snapper. The throat doesn't close, but it closes. It's in a process of half closing. It moves, contracts inwards to the back of itself, I think. And then you do a different alternative because you're playful. Because whipper, snapper, the last two are the same. Purr, but you got to change them to make it fun. So it's whipper, snapper. Anyway, it's better when I say it fast without all that preparatory work. Now you got your mind focused on it, and every time I say it, I'm going to be self-conscious myself saying it. So I'm going to stop saying it for a little bit. But see, that's just me hyperextending it. Luch doesn't say whipper snapper. That's like what's that cartoon Jabberjaw or something, right? Like Luch doesn't talk like Jabberjaw, so he just says whippersnapper. So he doesn't exaggerate all the Jabberjaw parts. He just says whippersnapper. And they whippersnapper. Like who's that pink cartoon cat? Sylvester the cat? No, what is that? Snaggletooth puss. That's a puss with a snaggle, all right. That's a crazy snaggle. That's a life-changing snaggle right there on that puss. Snaggle puss. Yeah, that guy. I'm not trying to snaggle puss it. The Luch doesn't have a snaggle puss. I don't believe the Luch has a snaggle tooth at all. I think Luch got braces like we all did at a certain age. All the Gen X's got braces pretty much in my realm of the woods. Or they were born with good teeth. You got sometimes you got three snaggles going on just on that front rack, that grill. What's up with that grill? It's like a 6-car pileup happened in the front of their mouth. Straighten that tooth out. Why is that tooth all out of that whack like that? What happened? Why'd they come in so weird? Didn't you ever heard of braces? I don't believe it. Anyway, Luch doesn't have a snagglepuss, so I'm not trying to make him have a snagglepuss. So it's just whippersnapper. But I like to go crazy sometimes and make things weirder, and then just go whippersnapper. And that's a different character altogether. It's just sometimes you take an accent and then you make that accent have an accent. And it's a double accent. And that really throws people for loops. But it's hard to sustain, especially for a non-professional like myself. It's all I can do to... That's not true. It's easy to talk like Luch. It's no effort at all. It just drips off my tongue now like honey. It is. The Luch. The Luch is like honey dripping off my lips. I mean, the sound of his voice. Nah, it doesn't sound right. That sounds a little weird. You know what I mean, though. The way the Luch's voice is, it's like honey dribbling off these lips. That's the truth of it. Orangutans are funny animals, right? They're crazy. They look so wizened and silly. And they look nice. They look like they would be nice, but they're orangutans, so they're wild animals, and they're stronger than you think. There's videos about this, and you could tear your head off. So you don't hang around with them. I'm just saying, they're funny to look at, orangutan, and that's a funny name. It's a funny name for an animal, an orangutan. And it's not even said how it's spelled. Orangutan is the way it's spelled, like it's got a G at the end. It's an unpronounced G, it's a silent G. I don't know what a silent G even sounds like. But people don't say orangutan. Only the kids say that who don't know. The zoologists and whatnot, the studiers and the scientists, they call it orangutan. That's how it ends. Whipper snapper. Real quick. Whipper snapper.